Where you at?
Oh, that sounds pretty good. Check 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test.
That's
A real
good.
production Anheuser-Busch marketing presentation. Take 1. You got a good level?
Mhm.
Okay, good.
It's fine.
Good thing.
When you like pull the bottle out of the 6-pack, go ahead and set the rest of the 6-pack like to the side.
Okay.
And that'll give us like a clear view for the glass.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yep.
Okay. Take 1. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bob. I'm with a marketing group for Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. And I'm here today to tell you how to pour a really good glass of beer, the way the brewmaster intended it for it to be. What you do first is you take your nice, ordinary Budweiser 6-pack here, as you get from your local convenience store, liquor store, beer store, wherever you wish. Bring it over to the side here, bring out a good beer. Anheuser-Busch label. Well, the first things you might want to check would be the expiration date on board the Budweiser bottle. That can be found in the laser stamp code right here, right along the side here. It's kind of hard to read, but once I tell you how to read it, you'll understand that a Budweiser does not have a shelf life longer than 105 days. Best way to read it is just to look on the date right here, and I don't know if you're going to zoom on this or not, is that the date right here says 089, and what that means is it's a 89 days into the Julian calendar year, which is basically about around March or so. Like I said before, you don't want a shelf life over 105 days. Just make sure it's within 105 days of this date right here. From beyond that, so if it's 105 days from here, this beer here would expire roughly about around July, August, around there or so. Just be sure you're not drinking old Budweiser, because Budweiser does lose its taste after a long period of time. It's not like wine where it gets better with age. What you might want to do next is put your beer aside, pull back your 6-pack, and all of a sudden you have your clean glass of beer. Now make sure this is a beer clean glass, quote unquote. It's not just been run through your normal dishwasher, so you want to make sure it's a beer clean glass. What I mean by that is when you pour your beer in here, you want to make sure there's no bubbles along the side. There's a big, at least 1-inch head on the foam on the beer, and that will make sure you have a beer clean glass. So let's go ahead and do that. Break open the beer. What you might want to do if you're a real beer connoisseur is give it a big sniff. Make sure it has a good aroma to it. That's very important. Now the proper way to pour a beer is take your beer, hold it by your thumb and index finger, pour it along the outside of the beer. Excuse me, take it again. Pour it along the outside edge of the glass. About a crow way or so. Start bringing it all the way up. You should have none left in the bottle. You should have about 1.5 inches or roughly about 1 inch on the glass. As you see about this glass right here, it's a slight bit dirty but not majorly bad. You have a few bubbles collected along the side. You have about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch foam head. You don't want a lot of big bubbles around the crown of the foam, because that will indicate a dirty glass, and that will decrease the foam drastically. By doing this, what it allows you to do is it allows you to release the CO2 out of the beer and have the proper aroma the way the brewmaster always intended it to be from Budweiser. Best thing to do now is take the glass of beer, bring it around your nostrils, give it a big sniff, because of course everyone knows that not really your tongue will give you the best taste of beer, but your nose will. You might want to smell it again to make sure it's okay. Take it along the back side of your palate. Once that's done, you should be able to feel a tingling sensation along the back side of your tongue, all the way from the back of your tongue all the way down your throat, and that will give you a good indication of how well your beer is made. Another example I could do is if you had 2 small glasses. Cut right here, I'm just going to get 2 small glasses real quick. I just thought of something.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, go ahead and have a seat.
Bray.
Okay. Are you live? Okay. Anyway, we're back with 2 clean glasses here. And what you might want to do, if you want to demonstrate the best possible beer you can get, is what you might want to do is you want to take another bottle of beer, and open it up. Smell it again, for the beer connoisseurs, of course. And what you might want to do is take just the first quarter of beer or so, pour it into a new glass. Don't worry about the head count of it. Make sure you get a big foam head on it. Smell it. And what you should notice is you should notice a really strong, bitter smell. Then once you taste it, you should notice a lot of carbonation on the back part of your palate. And what that's indicating is that the first quarter of your beer, actually, excuse me, the first third of your beer is where most of your CO2 is located. Once you get to your second third of the beer, that's where the best beer CO2 alcohol combination is made. And then the way the brew monster is always intended to be. And the last third of the beer, a lot of people like to customly call it backwash, but it's not really. What it is just the flat portion of the beer. It's where the beer's already lost its CO2 carbonation and it tastes kind of flat like backwash does, or a lot like backwash. So another thing you might want to do is take this glass, finish this one off or not, doesn't matter. Put some more beer into this glass, and notice you got a nice strong head on it. This portion of the glass right now, since we're into the second third of the beer, will have the best tasting beer of the entire bottle. It should taste a lot less strong than the first quarter, the first third of the glass, and it should taste the way it's always meant to be. If you want to taste what it's like to have the second third of the glass, is to take it into each glass, pour it back and forth several times. Get a nice big head on it. And let the head dissipate for a second. Continue to wait. Anyway, go ahead and enjoy it. It should taste flat. What you've done there is you've released all the CO2 out of the beer, and there's really nothing left for the beer to do except just taste flat. That's not the way the beer is meant to taste. So obviously the best way to taste a beer is make sure it's in date, make sure it smells right, make sure it tastes properly. You should not have too bitter of a taste, but you should not have a flat taste either. If it's somewhere between these two extremes, then you have the perfect glass of beer. So from me to you, and from Anheuser-Busch in St. Louis, enjoy.
Gulp it down.
Get to the top of the stairs.
Gulp it all the way
Gulp
down.
top
Just
of
go
the
ahead and
stairs.
drink it all.
Can't try, folks.
We have a beer bong.
Beer bong. There's some parts of this I like to do again, but it sounds like
Well, do you want to watch it
No.
and see? No.
Honestly, no. I don't want to watch it because I sound like a drunken fool. I sound like a drunken fool doing this stuff, but I'm not. But honest to God, folks, I do work for Budweiser. I mean, it's no joke. I really do.
I never knew there was so much about beer.
That's true, there
You
is.
never really think about it.
There's lots to know about beer. I mean, the same way it goes for all the Anheuser-Busch products. You have the 16 ouncer here. You have all the bottle line. You have all the can line. You have other Budweiser products like O'Doul's, Michelob, Red Wolf, Elk Mountain, Red Hook, and the rest of the specialty lines. And of course, Busch Light, King Cobra, and the rest of the Bud lines. And that will be able to give you the entire Bud breakdown. Actually, let me read them off to you real quick. So you might be able to splice this stuff in, Andrea.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let me off my chin. Thanks. Okay. Some of the Budweiser products out there that Anheuser-Busch does make, of course, is Budweiser, Bud Light, which are the two flagship products of the Bud line. You're probably most familiar with those. Those are available in all markets throughout the United States. Some other products might be Bud Dry, Bud Ice, which are pretty much available everywhere, but not in some markets. Bud Dry you will be seeing discontinued by the mid of the summer. The dry beer is just a fad and it has gone out of fashion, so that line will be discontinued fairly soon. But the new lines are Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light. Those are really good beers. They're very smooth. They're cold filtered and ice brewed throughout the entire process using formerly patented brewing processes.
Isn't that beer a fad too?
Ice beer, it's possible but not likely. Ice beers, from marketing research has found, will be around for a while.
Is it true it gets you drunk faster?
Get me drunk faster. Well, with that in mind, I can give you that Bud Ice is 5.5% alcohol per volume and Bud Ice Light is 4.1% alcohol per volume, with there being very minor calorie difference between the two.
So the answer is yes?
Yes, it will get you drunk faster, in essence, but there won't be a noticeable change between Bud and Bud Ice. For most people, you will not notice a difference between 4 Buds versus 4 Bud Ice. You will not notice a difference. But if you weren't, for mathematically speaking, yes, you will notice a little bit of alcohol difference change.
Is it true that Budweiser is coming out with a product to compete with Zima?
No. Bud does not have anything to do with Zima products. Zima is a cheap, crappy tasting Sprite, mineral water tasting thing, and Bud has no competition with that whatsoever. But Zima is a fad and it's already been expired. The big purchases of Zima were youths between age 25 and 35, mostly female, because they didn't like the taste of beer. So they purchased Zimas. Zima has lost a lot of market share to Bud because Zima was mostly a fad.
Can you pour your beer in a way that it gets you drunk faster?
Unless you drink it through a straw, no. If you drink beer through a straw, it'll get you drunk the fastest. Because that way your brain's only getting pure alcohol and no oxygen from your drinking process. So, honest to God, truth is, if you drink it through a straw, you'll get drunk really quick. Next question.
Can you tell us a little bit about your job?
My job, okay. My job is, Anheuser-Busch has hired a group of about 300 people nationwide to go out to the market field and target the youth group between age 25 and 35. A lot of different markets throughout the United States have shown a decrease to Miller and Coors from Budweiser, and we're out to combat that. We're out to bring back the market share to Budweiser via taste demonstrations, promotions, marketing, vendor distribution, whatever it takes. They've spent a considerable amount in this, and they're serious about bringing back the market share to Budweiser. Budweiser makes an excellent product, and I don't think there's a beer out there that can compete with it in that type of frame.
So you go out and get people drunk?
No, I don't go out and get people drunk. I go out there and let them sample the product. We don't encourage drinking whatsoever or getting drunk that fast. Let me change that. We encourage people to drink sociably and responsibly. We have many different programs like Know When to Say When, Think Free Drink. Actually, that's a Miller item. Excuse me. Don't want that in the tape, please. And we have a lot of different programs that encourages people not to drink and drive, which of course everyone knows is bad.
So do you like to be drunk?
Do I like to be drunk? No, I don't like to be drunk. I don't like to be out of control. Everyone knows that. It's not cool to be out of control. A lot of bad things happen when you're out of control. Otherwise, you might be doing stupid videos like this. Or I'm sorry. But,
what do you do to get drunk?
What do I do to get drunk? You drink a lot. That's how you get drunk.
What's your favorite drink?
My favorite drink? It is Budweiser. It's my favorite drink choice. Enjoy it. It's the best thing to have.
How many Budweisers does it take you to get drunk?
It takes me about 6 Budweisers to get drunk. That's when I start feeling it, and that's when I start losing control. But of course, you don't want to do that. Always remember, folks, if you get drunk, be sure to take a cab, let a friend drive home. Please do not drink and drive. It's not cool. I've seen the consequences, It is not good. Please take a cab, let someone else drive. It is not good.
Do you use this job to get girls drunk?
Yes. Once I get girls drunk, I take advantage of them. No, just joking. Please don't put that in there. But yeah, it is kind of a social
Isn't that
tool.
considered one of the, I guess what some people would call one of the benefits of the job?
Yes, it is one of the benefits of the job to meet girls and enjoy them at their will.
How many beers or Budweisers do you usually have to buy a girl to get her to do what you want her to?
If you want a girl to become loose, you usually drink about yourself about 3, and then you get the girl to drink about 5 or 6. But if this girl's really ugly and fat, you may take up to about a case or half a case, depending on how ugly she is. Okay.
With every beer that you drink, does she get cuter?
Yes, that's true. Every beer you drink, the girl will become cuter and cuter by the time you're about around a case, or maybe in some severe instances about a keg or so. And by that time, you're probably illegally drunk and probably dead in a hospital, or you wake up and the girl is coyote ugly, where you'd rather chew off your arm than wake her up by removing your hand underneath her head.
How many Budweisers does it take to forget an experience like that?
After you have an experience like that, it'll take about another 12 pack or a case or so before you forget things like that. And of course, you would never share that with your friends for your entire life. Mm-hmm.
How does a Budweiser hangover compare with, let's say, a Molson Ice hangover?
A Molson Ice hangover will take more aspirin than a Budweiser hangover will. Mm-hmm. So if you get drunk over Molson Ice or Coors Light or anything like that, it will require more aspirin to fix that remedy that solution versus Budweiser. Budweiser is brewed with all natural ingredients, natural hops, yeast, herbs, everything.
How many Budweisers can you drink before you qualify for an OUIL?
OUIL, I'm not familiar with that term.
Operating under the influence of liquor?
Like a DWI.
Yeah.
Okay, like a DWI, driving while intoxicated. Of course, there's also ratios to that depending on your body weight. Anywhere from a 6-pack will for most people, or actually 4 beers for some people, all the way through to may take as much as 15, 16 beers. Who knows? Depends on your body weight and how tolerant you are to alcohol.
Is it true Budweiser stole the recipe from Czechoslovakia?
That is not true. Budweiser did not steal a recipe from Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia and Budweiser still has their own recipe, but Budweiser did take the name from that. The history goes that Budweiser, excuse me, what's his name? Shit, don't say this. Cut this part out, please.
Okay.
The founder of Budweiser at the time was looking for a name that would appeal to both German immigrants and the public as a large. So he chose the name Budweiser from Budweiser Budvar. This name allowed the German immigrants to be able to be associated with the Budweiser product and thus have an American nationwide Budweiser as a standard. That's how the Budweiser name came about. Budweiser Budvar was the first beer to use Budweiser name and is still continued to use from this day forward. Next question from the audience, please.
What's the calorie difference between Budweiser and Bud Light?
Budweiser uses 148 calories, and Bud Light is 110 calories. Of course, everyone knows the more calories you go up, the more higher in alcohol content. The difference between the Budweiser and Bud Light, as far as alcohol goes, is very, very small, only about 6%. It's about 4.9 for Budweiser and 4.2% per volume for Bud Light.
So if I'm a girl watching her figure, but I want to get trashed, which should I go for? Budweiser or Bud Light?
Okay. It all depends. If you're very tolerant to alcohol, you might just want to go for a Budweiser because the difference in calories between Budweiser and Bud Light is very small. So you might as well just go for the gusto and go for the Budweiser and get trashed a little bit quicker than you would off of Bud Light. getting ridiculous or what?
No, I like it. Was there any significance to the red and white label?
The red and white label? No. To answer your question, no.
Is it true that the Clydesdale hoppers still hop?
Hoppers. Clydesdale horses?
Horses, yes.
Yes, there's Clydesdale
Yeah.
horses, and there are 12 of them. If you ever go to a bar and there happens to be a Budweiser trivia contest, the answer to that question is there's 12 Clydesdales. And Budweiser was introduced in 1876, and it's all natural ingredients. And I have a good joke to tell you about Budweiser too.
Okay, tell us.
Okay, your joke is, one day this girl goes into a bar and she knows the bartender pretty well, and they've been kind of good friends for a while. She goes to the bar and the bartender says to the girl, say, how you doing today? And she goes, oh, it's fine. She's doing fine. She says, oh, well, how's your family? And the bartender goes, yeah, it's fine. My sons are doing good. My daughter's in college and everything like that. He says back to the lady, how's your family doing? And she goes, oh, it's fine. They're doing great. My husband's doing great. My family's doing great. And so the bartender kind of motions like, is she ready to have a beer? And he goes, well, you ready? Anheuser-Busch? And she goes, oh, it's fine. How's your dick? I thought it was pretty funny. I thought it was a pretty good, funny Budweiser joke. It's the first one I ever heard, and I enjoyed it.
Well, thank you, Bob.
Thank you. My name is Bob, not Bud, and I'm at Anheuser-Busch marketing rep from St. Louis, Missouri. Y'all enjoy. Take care.
Okay.
You're like, whatever. God, I wish I was sober doing this. Probably do a lot better. And folks, if I'm not working for Budweiser a week later, you know why.
Well, this won't air until May, the middle of May anyway. No one's gonna see it.
Let me give you about time to be comfortable with my job, and then I'll lose it. Cool.
No different thing.
2 seconds. But I don't know. I don't know what could be done.
How do you clean a beer clean glass?
The proper way to clean a beer clean glass is to take the first glass and dip it into clean solution up and down the brushes 5 times, and then dip it out from heel to toe first. Put it into the cold solution next to rinse the glass. And the next thing to do is you put it into the third tank with a sanitizer rinse on it to rinse off the glass. And you're done. Let it air dry, and then when you're done, you have a beer clean glass. And you should not have any of the bubbles onto it or anything like that, like I told you before.
Beer clean. Is it like soda pop clean too?
If it's beer clean, it's clean for everything else. It's sanitary, it's soda pop clean. Beer clean is the highest standard there is, so you won't get anything but higher than beer clean glasses.
Does a dishwasher make it beer clean?
Dishwasher can make it beer clean, as long as it's heat dried and not air dried. If it's a heat dried glass, it will be beer clean. It'll work for you really well.
And if it's not beer clean?
If it's not beer clean, like I mentioned before, you'll have a lot of bubbles along the side. You'll have about a 1/2 inch rim.
Is that bad?
Beer. Yes, it's bad in the fact that it's not desirable. It's not desirable as a consumer. If I was paying $2.25 a glass like this of beer and got it at my table and the head dissipated instantly on it and there's a lot of bubbles on it, yeah, I'd be kind of mad. I wouldn't want to pay for it. I might buy one beer and that's it, versus bars that might want to have clean glasses and increase their sales.
Do you think people who are trashed really look at that?
No. If they're really trashed, they won't know the difference anyway, so who cares?
Do you like getting trashed?
Do I like getting trashed? Depends. It really depends. Depends on how I feel, what I think, anything like that. if I'm with a girl and she gets trashed, I might want to try to get trashed too, just to join chemically with her. Otherwise, no, I like kind of staying in control of things. I like being sane.
Okay, thanks, bud.
No problem.
Maybe somebody's away.